Big time barbecue coming at you, and I'm going to show you how to make Italian meatballs. Italian meatballs, I love them. I love meatballs. My dad's meatballs were better than my mom's meatballs. We're going to start off with 2 pounds. I do 5 pounds. I do it in 5 pounds. We're going to do 2 pounds, 80-20. Then we got some meatloaf mix. We're going to do meatloaf mix, 3 pounds. So that's 5 pounds. I do 5-pound batches. And what we don't eat, we freeze. Bread, very important if you want a soft meatball. Better than breadcrumbs. We're gonna cut the crust off this bread and we're gonna soak it, about a half a loaf of bread. Onion, 5 cloves of garlic, 2 eggs, parsley, salt, important. I like using a little, at least about as salt as I can, but you gotta use salt. That's what gives them flavor. And the garlic and the onion. Also, Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Very important to put that in there also. For the 5 pounds, you should at least use a cup. I put a little more. So you got the eggs, which help them be soft also. And you could use 2 to 3 eggs. Right now I'm using 2 eggs. So 5 cloves of garlic, onion, salt, 2 pounds of 80% meatloaf mix with the veal. And you don't have to use meatloaf mix. I think it tastes better. But I'm going to show you how to do this. And another key important element to me is you don't have to, but they'll have more flavor. Today's Saturday. I'm going to actually fry these, and you can bake them. And I'm going to put a couple in the smoker to see how they come out. Sunday. So let them sit overnight, and the garlic and the onions start working in the flavor. The cheese. So I'm going to show you how to put it all together. There's the garlic and the onions. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of water in there, and I'm going to blend them. You can leave the crust on if you want. I like taking it off. Sometimes I leave it on, but I got out of that. I like taking the crust off. Here we go. 1, 2. I'm going to get a pair of gloves on. You want to soak this bread up into the water. And then we're going to wring it out. Half the layer. There's the 2 pounds of hamburger. That's the meatloaf mix. I like seasoning this half with one bread. I put my cheese, I put my salt, I put my parsley, and I put 1 egg on there. Then we'll put this on and do it again. It makes it easier to mix the ingredients. Parsley, little parsley, salt, little salt. Don't go too crazy with it. Okay. Cheese. I'm going to use more than that because I think this really helps add flavor. You put as much as you want. 1 egg. Saving the other egg. Going to do the same thing with your cheese and a little bit of salt and parsley on top. Now I'm going to put half of the garlic mixture. This is the garlic and onion. I put it in a strainer. This is a nifty little trick, guys. You don't have to chop. You don't have to puree. Half of it's going in. This half's going to go on top once I put the other hamburger meat in. This is what you want to do with your bread, guys. This is what gives you moist meatballs. You got to really try to get most of the water out of there. So keep wringing it until the water is most of the water is out and it stops running through my hands like that. Just keep squeezing it, and it's eventually going to come out. And if your meatball mix is a little too wet, that's okay. Then you can add a little breadcrumb. Just gotta take your time. Here we go. Just take your bread, and you go like this with it. Takes a little bit of time. That's all you gotta do right here. And some bread turns into dough balls. So you gotta find a bread, and I like Weiss's bread. This is from Valley Farm. And you just keep mixing this apart like this. This is what makes you have a nice, tender, soft meatball. And I think they taste better than with the breadcrumbs. That's all you do. Wring it out, soak it, wring it out, and put it in the meat. And I'm going to do the same exact thing you see here with the next layer I put on, and then I'm going to mix them all together. Next batch. We got one layer mixed, now we're going to do the other layer. That's the garlic and onion blended up. Now we're going to do one more egg, cheese, a little salt, parsley, mix it up. Put it in the refrigerator and roll them tomorrow. Some people say mix it lightly, hardly mix it. I ain't buying it. You can do it like that, and it probably will be. They just mush them together a little bit. But with the bread in there and the eggs, these are going to be fine, just fine. And this is all you do. You mix these around like this. And like I said, if it's a little too wet, add breadcrumbs. And putting this in the refrigerator is key. I've done it when I'm in a jam, and I just put them in the bowl, mix them up, and roll them right away. But I have time, so these babies are going in the refrigerator. Yep. I did 2 more equal parts of the breadcrumbs like that to get rid of some of the tackiness. But I'm going to put saran wrap over this, and I'm going to cover it with a lid. They sat in the refrigerator overnight, and there's what they look like today. And if you could smell that, the garlic and the onions, life is good. I enjoy doing this. This is why I use to roll them out. Just start just like that. A little squishy. I don't use gloves. Beautiful consistency. You gotta get yourself one of these. It gives you equal amounts, so your meatballs all look conformed. Look at the juice in that meatball. Nice, tender meatball. There's nothing hard about it. Eggs and bread are the key. Garlic, onion, cheese. If you follow my directions, you can't go wrong. Okay guys, there's our meatball video. And you can bake these in the oven, and I have. It's just a nice little treat. I like the texture better when you fry them. And I did them out in the garage, so my house didn't smell like meatballs. Here we go. Check them out. Now, I broke a little piece off of that one right there. See how the texture is different? I cooked the heck out of these because when we were young, my father would always make some dark ones like this for us. And we love to eat them when they're dark like that, crunchy on the outside. They're good like this. I like them like that. This is like a little treat right here. So at the end when you're done frying, leave a few in there and try them like this. But they're definitely different. There's no more. They're hard. But they're good like this for a little treat. I got 5 cans of sauce over there and crushed tomatoes. I use 1 can of water. Sometimes I don't use the whole cup of sugar. Basil, garlic, and onion. Garlic. Onion. We're going to put a little bit of water in here so we can blend it in the blender. Smell that, fragrant. Life is good. You don't want to burn the garlic. It'll be bitter. You don't want to burn the garlic and onions. Fresh basil, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put in about half a cup of sugar. We're going to leave that in there. We're going to let this cook for 20 minutes. Then we're going to add the meatballs in there and let it go for another 20-30 minutes. After 20 minutes, I'm going to give it a little taste. See if I need to add the rest of the sugar. We don't want it too sweet. But usually it's about a cup. And it depends on tomatoes. Sometimes I got tomatoes that were really sweet. But yeah, it's simple. If you want to, which I'm going to do, I give it a little bit of crushed red pepper. Black pepper. Just a little. And I'm going to throw a little dash of parsley in there. I'm not getting crazy. It's amazing how sauce absorbs flavor. We're going to let the basil do the talking and the tomatoes. You put too much basil in, you make it bitter. Now, if you don't have fresh basil, that's okay. Don't fret it. Don't fret, my pet. All you have to do is dump a little bit, eyeball it. The dried basil, maybe 2 teaspoons to 1 tablespoon, no more. Okay, guys. When you're bringing this up to a boil, you don't want it quite boiling. You gotta keep an eye on it. Give it a stir. Feel the bottom. You don't want to burn it. You don't want to burn it because if you burn it, you ruined it. The burnt flavor will go through the sauce entirely. So I'm going to get ready here to turn this down. Put the lid on for the remainder of the 20 minutes. Let it cook down a little bit. Then we're going to give it a taste, and we're going to add the meatballs. 15 minutes in the process, guys. See the difference? It's not boiling like it was. Again, I can't stress enough, you got to keep an eye on it at this stage. It's been 20 minutes. This is what she's looking like. That's the consistency of the boil that you want, of the simmer that you want. Remember, you want to stir. We're going to give it a little taste test. We're going to add the meatballs. We're going to give it a test. I'm not going to add the rest of the sugar. That's the way I like it. Meatballs are going in. We'll show you the finished product. One of the main reasons you cook it by itself for a while is you want it to blend together. Plus, the flavors blend, to me anyway. But and you could stir it a lot easier and keep it off the bottom. Now we're at low heat. We're going to simmer these meatballs in there, and we're going to have a beautiful meatball and pasta dinner, because life is good. We'll show you the finished product on the plate with the meatballs. I put the lid back on to help bring this back up to temperature after adding the meatballs. Now we're going to cut it back. Remember, stir Stir, stir, because it could stick. You don't want to stick when you turn that high heat up. Now we cut the heat back on it, and we're going to simmer these meatballs a little bit. And it's going to be done. It doesn't take, you don't have to cook it all day to have excellent tasting sauce. Okay guys, see how the consistency changed in this sauce. We're hooked up, baby. That's amore. We're gonna plate this up for you then, guys. 2 hours. It's been cooking 2 hours. You gotta taste it. You gotta taste it as you go. Give it a little taste test as you go with the other spoons here. And towards the end, you start picking out that basil. Fresh basil is a key, guys, for better tasting sauce. Tender meatballs, guys.